I always say every record I make, this is the one I wanted to make. And I do believe it at the time I say it, but this is me. Elegance for me is a good song. Charlie Chaplin's Smile, into Gershwin, into Frank Sinatra, I'm a Fool to Want You. The title, The Art of Elegance, spans a huge, huge distance. I grew up listening to Leonard Bernstein, young people's orchestras. I grew up singing in church. I grew up singing opera. That's my major. So The Art of Elegance will represent all of that.
Kristin picked a couple of really heartbreakers. I'm a Fool to Want You was a last minute choice of hers, and those are songs that touches the emotions.
I'm a fool to want you. Pity me, I need you. I know it's wrong, it must be wrong, but right or wrong, I can't get along without you. Without you.
We tried to make an honest album where Kristin could do her thing. We want to go for the moments, and she gives it to you.
There's one song I know I have to do. And he said, what's that? I said, I get along without you very well. Having had my heart broken and been the one who's done the heartbreaking, I understand that sometimes when you love someone, you can't be with them. I get along without you very well, of course I do. And he was like, all right, Steve Tyrell, we'll do it. And then of course we got in there and he said, oh yeah, you do know what this is about.
What's in store? Should I fall once more? No, it's best that I stick to my tune. I get along without you very well. Of course I do.
There's a sound that only comes from life. And it's not going to be up here anymore. It's maybe going to be down here a little bit. And that can only come through experience, hardship, gratefulness. And that's why I'm ready to sing this music.
Well, Skylark is one of the most beautiful and unusual songs. It's Johnny Mercer and Hoagie Carmichael. That's a song that doesn't sound like anything.
Oh, Skylark, I don't know if you can find these things, but my heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you lead me there?
Elegance for me is a good song.
These songs, you start with the songs, and these are the most elegant songs ever written. They were written in a time that's gone, but in a place that will never be gone.
A classic is a classic, whether it was written last year or in 1960 or 50 or 40 or better yet 32. I mean, this era that I'm singing a few songs from, it does feel like I could have been born and lived in that time. That's what I hope to do with this album.
Yeah.
Like the younger kids go, huh, I get along without you very well. Or, huh, someone to watch over me.
Yeah.
I like that. Or I'm a fool to want you.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that.
They're elegant in their presentation, but they're
Right.
timeless in their soul.
You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.
Kristin,
Yes.
you, I think, are the most elegant guest that we've had on this stage in a long time.
I paid her $20 to say that.
It's all in the name of the album,
That's
The
right,
Art of
baby.
Elegance.
Thank you.
This album is out now.
Yes.
Tell me about it in a couple of sentences.
I made a list of songs I always wanted to sing, and it kept coming back to these on the record. And I thought, I always want to keep it elegant and classy. And this is everything I am. Some of this music I cut my teeth on, so to speak, in Oklahoma. So here we are.
Yeah, so you've got Gershwin, you have Sinatra, you have Charlie Chaplin, Hoagie Carmichael, Burt Bacharach. Do you have a favorite song on the record?
It's really hard. I was back there waiting with you as we were coming out here, and I forget to hear the album that big, you know? And I was like, I really like Skylark. I forgot. But I'm a Fool to Want You, because the album was done, and I was in Boston in a bathtub, taking a bath before a performance, and the album was done, and that I'm a Fool to Want You by Frank Sinatra came on. And I thought, is it too late? And we got it on there. Clearly it spoke to me. I loved it.
There is something about, forgive me if this comes out wrong, but something about this album in bathtubs, because I put it on last night and listened to the whole thing through while I took a bath.
What else were you doing?
I was just soaking in the bath, enjoying the elegance of the
Keeping it classy.
beautiful music, keeping it classy always. It really truly is the perfect sort of quiet night in with a glass of wine. I think that each song stands alone, but there's something that feels very complete about this collection of songs, kind of like having a multi-course meal. Each dish is delicious, but the way that they come together, there's something extra special about the combination.
Thank you. I think that's as important as song selection in and of itself. And I know a lot of artists look for an arc to go from A to Z, and I tried here.
And you worked with the great Steve Tyrell.
Who I love. I mean, who
Yeah.
doesn't love that man? And as fun as he is, he's also, can I just say one thing he always said to me? Because I'm used to doing cast albums and my own records where I have a very short amount of time, and they're like, pump it out, result-oriented, go, Chenoweth, go. And he made me do this over and over, to the point where I was like, I've got it, okay? Hashtag, I've got it. But he was right, because a lot of these songs I had never performed, and they became part of my DNA. I mean, I've been on tour, there's been a lot happen, but every break I had, there I was in the studio with him. I'm so thankful to him for that.
How did you guys get paired up together?
My label, Concord, said, what about Steve Tyrell? And I said, well, would he say yes? Skip to The Art of Elegance.
So you mentioned a lot of the songs on this record you'd never performed before, but one of them you've actually recorded before, at least one. House is Not a Home by Burt
Thank you
Bacharach.
for knowing.
Of course, yeah. On the cast recording from Promises, Promises.
Yes.
What made you want to record that one again?
You guys know how there's a song that you can't stop singing, or there's a poem you can't stop reading, or there's a TV show or movie that every time it's on, you can. This song, I've just never felt done with it. And I think it's due to Hal David and Burt Bacharach, the lyric and the melody, of course. But the lyric, I did it on Glee, I did it on Broadway, but I feel like I finally maybe did my definitive version. I'll probably die singing it. I just think there's something so beautiful about that song. A chair is still a chair, even when there's no one sitting there. It's just the lyric, and I don't want to sound like an old fart, but I do think that there are some artists today that concentrate a lot on melody instead of the words. And I love the words.
There's so much poetry, and these lyrics in particular, I feel like that's another through line to this whole album. I'm also glad you mentioned that Steve pushed you to do it again and again and again, because there's one thing about the word elegance that I think it's often confused for effortlessness, and I think that elegance might indicate the appearance of effortlessness, but there's one thing I know about you throughout your career from the time you were a little girl, was that you never sacrificed putting the work in.
No, I am a workhorse. I don't know how to not be. It never occurred to me not to be. It just never occurred to me not to work hard. And I'm just, that probably sounds like this a little bit, but to this day, I think I still want to be great. I still want to continue to try to grow. And I'd never done the repetitive. I mean, certainly on Broadway we do that, but the same song, the same phrase. I was like, I know you have it. Stop torturing me.
So how many times would you sing a certain phrase or a certain number?
Well, I would do like choruses. So many. I mean, I've been working on this a year. So, I mean, in my world, I'm used to a week.
Right.
This was a year. And what he did was, it, like you said, it made it effortless. So then it made it a part of me. And now I feel like I could do any of those songs live because I feel ready, you know? In fact, I'm starting to in my shows now because I feel ready.
You do such beautiful performances live. Not just the actual song choices and the way that you perform them and the combination of standards and the Broadway songs that people know you best for, but you also incorporate other people. You've brought people up on stage to sing with you. There was a recent performance where you brought a whole chorus of high school kids. And I know a lot of performers do that, but you did something I've never seen before where you spoke to each one of them individually, asked their name, their age, and what they were passionate about.
Yes.
And you said, if you're wondering why I'm doing this, I think you need to know all these people's names.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that, to me, is the embodiment of elegance. It's not just the chiffon dress and the soaring string arrangements and, you know, the old-fashioned songs, but
Sure.
it's a kind of, I don't know, I think of it, it's related to, but not like exactly the same as your Southern charm, your Oklahoma girl roots.
For sure, absolutely. And I have to tell you, the secret to that whole moment in the show, which is now what I'm living for every show, is they really inspire me because they remind me to be in the moment. They're listening. One kid said, I just have to tell it. I said, what do you want to be? He goes, I want to be a politician. And I said, oh, God help us. and I go, you're adorable. You could do it. He goes, well, it's a lot like being an actor, isn't it? And I just died 1,000 deaths. But my goal is for them to hear this music and to say, and want to learn about it. One of my friends who's about 14 heard I Get Along Without You very well, Hoagie Carmichael and Johnny Mercer. And she said, oh, did they write that for you? And I said, no, it's really an old song. But I want our youth to hear it and like it's new to them.
Well, that song I wanted to ask you about in particular, because the title, even though it's I Get Along Without You Very Well, the message of the song is that maybe that's not exactly so true. You've talked on the record about being both the heartbroken and the heartbreaker, and I know that you suffered a loss recently that I can imagine, and we talked about this backstage, so I've gotten permission to discuss it publicly, but can you talk a little bit about losing your dog?
I would love to. I had a dog named Madeline Chenoweth. She was a Maltese, and and I'll tell it here. I'll tell it here for the first time. It's the first time I've talked at length in public about it. I got her the day after we opened Wicked on Broadway, so it's been 14 years, and she was my companion. I mean, I used to roll my eyes when people would talk about their dog or their cat. Oh, please, one of those crazy people. And then suddenly, I am the crazy person. But she was truly a person that brought a soul that brought me comfort, and she didn't really like my singing at all. And
She was the one creature on earth.
I tried to tell her people paid money, but she didn't care. So when she was transitioning into the next life, I had to have her come to Canada because I was there shooting American Gods for Stars, and I knew that she had maybe a day or two. So my best friend brought her, and I decided I wanted to have music playing when she passed because I love music, and I made sure it wasn't me. And
I'm sorry to laugh.
I know. It's funny when you think about it. I mean, she would literally and run into the other room. But obviously Oz and The Wizard of Oz and Wicked and that whole theme has been a running theme in my life. And I haven't since she passed, but I sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow in my concerts. And you guys know who Ava Cassidy is or was? Mm-hmm. She's a songbird who's in heaven now, but she just is one of my favorite singer-songwriters. And I have three of her albums on download, and it was on shuffle, which I can't figure out how to get it off. So if anybody knows, will you tell me later? So Maddie, I was holding her and telling her what a great dog she had been, and that I hoped I was a great mommy. And as she transitioned, Somewhere Over the Rainbow came on. And I felt like it was her saying, I know this is your song. Thank you for not being the one to sing it. And I love you. And so, anyway, she's just been such a gift to me.
Well, there's no heartbreak like that kind of heartbreak. And I'm really grateful to you for being willing to share it with us. And I know that those songs are going to take on a new meaning when you sing them next. So,
yeah, for sure. I wonder when I will do Somewhere Over the Rainbow again.
Well, we will all be there with you when you're doing that.
Thank you.
And I'm going to use that opportunity to transition into our next opportunity to be with you in a theater in New York. Kristin is coming back to Broadway for
Yes.
12 performances only in a love letter to the art form that I feel like you're kind of made of. It's in your DNA, which is musical theater.
Yes. I think I've entitled it My Love Letter to Broadway because I do love Broadway. Of course, I'm lucky that I get to work in a lot of different ways, but I always go back to the relationship between the artist and the audience. And that's what I love the best. It's been my longest relationship, frankly, therapy. But I think that there's a give-take that happens, and finally I'll do obviously songs that people will know, that will expect from me, but there's a lot of surprises and new things for myself too. And one thing in particular that's never been done before on Broadway that I'm nervous and excited about, but I think with my music director, Mary Mitchell Campbell, and Richard J. Alexander directing, I'm in good hands. And I just want people to forget for about an hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2, that, we got a difficult time, right? We're in a difficult time in our history, but just to enjoy themselves. That's what I want.
So you'll be doing a combination of songs from this album, some of your Broadway favorites,
Yep.
and maybe a couple other things?
Oh, yeah. It's what the show will be, and you guys, I can't believe I'm attempting it, but it'll be a different show every night.
Really?
I'm putting different songs in every night.
Oh, I'm going to have to get tickets to all 12.
Please. You'll be the one. No.
And I won't be the only one.
Thanks.
I have a feeling that's going to be a sold-out show every night.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Are you going to be singing My New Philosophy from Charlie Brown?
Perhaps. I feel like that's part of my DNA, right?
It's my favorite.
Thank you.
If I let you know what night I'm coming,
give me the heads
put
up.
it in just
I'll
for-
put it in the night you come.
I think that your collaborators, who you mentioned on this show, Mary Mitchell and Richard J., 2 hyphenated first names, which I think is
What is going on with them?
some kind of
I
coincidence
feel like
there.
I need to be
But
Kristin/Chenoweth now.
Christy Dawn.
Christy Dawn. You know me, girl. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Christy Dawn / or is it
Christy Don. Well, I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
It's your name. In any case, I was just going to say I know both of them, and they are the epitome of elegance as well. So way to go in
I
choosing.
can't believe you know them. And you said you loved MMC and know her from outside.
Yeah, Mary
It-
Mitchell Campbell
It makes
is
me
a
happy.
music director, arranger. She does some background vocals on this album.
Yeah, she can really sing. In fact, just recently we got a review. I can't remember what town we were in. I think we were in Wabash, Indiana. And we had a review, and it said, the one and only Mary Mitchell Campbell. And I thought, before long, she's going to want to be the headliner, and it's going to be with Kristin Chenoweth. But that would be okay with me. She's that good. She's so good.
I want to talk about some of your on-screen work.
Okay.
Pushing Daisies is one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I wish I had the power to lay my hand on that show and bring it back to life.
Could you, please?
What do you know about the rumors that it's being made into a musical?
Well, I know that Brian, the creator, who I adore and idolize, has talked about it, and I'm like, TikTok, let's go. He's a little busy with American Gods and Star Trek, which I'll forgive him, but
Especially since he gave you a part in American Gods.
I know I can't complain, right?
And Easter is such a great character.
Easter is, I just got to tell you, this cast, they were all there with me, with Maddie, and you know, I was in a professional setting and didn't want to bring my drama to the set. Word spread like wildfire, and they were so strong and loving to me. I feel like they're my family now. I loved it. I just love Canada, and we were in the middle of nowhere, and no internet, which I thought I would hate, but it took me a second to adjust, and then when I did, I was able to listen and just be, and you know.
Well, I'm not letting you pivot that easily away from this Pushing Daisies musical idea, because I just like to know on the record whether you would be willing to reprise your role.
Of course, I just would want them to say, you know, 8 years later. You know what I mean?
Oh, honey, you
Her
look
hair has grown.
fantastic. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Look, I'm wearing Daisy dress, so I'm sending it out subliminally.
We love it.
I'm such a dork. I'm a dork.
And The West Wing, of course, another...
The only time I ever felt smart in my life.
Oh, come on.
That is such a genius show.
You try to get away with this ditzy blonde thing, but I don't believe it for a second.
She ain't buying it. She is not.
I'm not buying it. I know about that master's degrry.
Oh my God, she knows all my secrets.
Well, look, you write a book about it. You better believe I'm going to read every
Oh,
page.
right. That was 2009. Right. Forgot about the book. Yeah, I mean, look, West Wing was a moment in time that I just got so blessed with. I left Wicked to go out to LA to do Bewitched, this movie, and with my beloved Nora Ephron. And
Right? Who the album is dedicated to.
yes, I dedicated it to her because I knew that she would love the music choices. And she was the epitome of elegance. When I think about elegance, I think about Nora Ephron. I love her. I miss her all the time.
Is it true that you are working on the My Little Pony movie?
I am working on the My Little Pony movie. Calm down, calm down.
I'm very excited about it.
I am too, and I gotta tell you something. My Little Pony has been around a second.
Sure.
I didn't realize until I started looking at the years and their catalog of how many ponies there have been. And now I'm gonna get to be one of them.
Which one are you going to be?
Well, I can't say.
Oh,
But I will say that.
can you tell us what your cutie mark is? That's the little picture on the rump of the My Little
Oh
Pony.
my God, no, I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. Just that I'm in it. And I know it's shocking that I would be in an animated film after you'd listen to me talk, but I have to tell you, I'm excited. And there's lots of good people in it. The original ponies. I haven't met them yet. I hope I get to soon.
Well, I'm going to be first in line.
Yeah, let's go together.
I mean, let's face it. I'm going to be first in line for anything you ever do for the rest of your life and mine. So
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course.
We actually met.
Yeah, we've met a few times. We've crossed paths a few times, but we have.
I met her when she was a very newbie and a baby, and she was still. You have an age. I don't know what you're drinking, but I'll have 4.
Same thing you're drinking, baby. That's very kind of you. We're going to take a few questions from the audience.
Okay.
In fact, let's just go straight into that.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Hi.
I'm such a big fan, and I'm an actress and I'm also a singer. So I was wondering, when you're singing such emotional music, how do you kind of show emotion but also keep your voice in check?
Oh, that's the hardest thing. My voice teacher used to say to me, Kristin, you sacrifice sometimes the technique for the emotion. You've got to find the balance. I think part of it is what Steve Tyrell worked with me so much on, because I'm so used to being result-oriented. Give yourself a moment to breathe and find it. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect every time you sing too, but it does have to be from the heart. I find that there are fantastic voices all over the world. How many people do we know that are really amazing, really good singers, right? But what makes them stand out is their heart. Like you can hear in Adele, you can hear pain, love, joy, sadness, you can hear it all. I would concentrate more on that and come at it from a place of acting always. If you have the technique, just keep working on that. That's rote. That will be there. Make sense?
Hey, Kristin, thank you for being here. What was the design process for the cover of the album?
Well, I wanted it to be elegant, and this is no one's asked me this. I have an ad coming out for the Broadway that's in a pink suit with a top hat. That was my original idea for the cover. And I did go to Christian Siriano and ask him if he would make, of course I go right to the clothes, don't I? Right to the clothes. And if he would design the costumes and the outfits, and he said yes. And I did the picture with the suit, only problem, it hadn't been tailored yet. So it looked like I was wearing a size 12. And I just couldn't make it work. And this dress was one that just was my second choice. And I just felt, put the dress on. I just kept listening to that brain. Put the dress on, put the dress on. And it just felt more elegant to me. And of course, we added the pink, and you can see, I call it the ombre, which I'm always late to any party, but the ombre. And I didn't want it to be a posed situation. I wanted it to be a moment in time. And for me, that's a challenge, because I am an actor, you know, I put it out there. This is an intimate moment that was just caught. I wanted the words and the design to reflect elegance, and we went through a lot of different looks, but this is the one we came up to. It's important to note that the day that I had the photo shoot, which was about 12 hours, the air conditioning broke in the building.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm usually cold, but I'm not really a big sweater either. Like, I pride myself. I say to my makeup artist, I don't need powder, right? I don't sweat. Buckets of sweat down my back. I mean, I had a fan up underneath the dress. But it still worked out. It still happened. Thank you for asking that.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
I want to mention that you can find information all about the album and all of Kristin's other projects at officialkristinchenoweth.com. And lest you forget, there are 2 I's in Kristin and 2 E's in Chenoweth. All right?
So much.
I see it misspelled so often, and I just want to go 2 I's in the first name, 2 E's in the last name.
Thank you. I just caught it I was driving up for a rehearsal, and it said Kristin with no I, Chenoweth or something, Chenoweth. And
Who's that?
It was on Instagram immediately. I just enjoyed it. I don't know. There's a part of me that enjoys that.
This is a perfect example of how you seem to find just the positive in everything. The fact that amuses you, that you think it's lovely.
It's hilarious. Please. People think, oh, she's got it made. I'm still trying to find my parking spot with my name on it. That's right.
I've heard it said that if you look up the word nice in the dictionary, you find a picture of Kristin Chenoweth.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Thank you for that. I think I will say there is a gloves off Kristin that I'm sure that you know comes out. But for the most part, except for about 3 or 4 days in the month, I'm all right.
I'm glad we got you on a good day.
Me too.
Do we have another question?
Hi, Kristin.
Hi.
I was wondering, what's your favorite memory of your dog, Maddie?
Oh, thank you for asking that. I love that we're talking about her, because I've had to work, and I've had to process it alone and quickly at night, and I come home and talk to her. There's many memories. Probably my favorite is she would eat anything. I mean, she would eat anything. We were opening Wicked. She was this big. I mean, she's this big. And well, she grew a bit later, but she would just, I was getting all Glendified, and the producer, Mark Platt, was there. And out from underneath my dressing table comes Maddie at 5 to 8, right before the show, with a big thing stuck to her beard, a big plastic like container. It said rat poison. I said to Mark, "Oh, I'm not going on." I start undoing my crown. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going. She's 3 pounds. She's going. And Maddie's like licking the rest of the contents, of the rat poison. And he said, "Would you please let me take her and go on?" And I said, "You better save her life. She better not die." And I mean, that's the gloves off Kristin I was talking about. And he took her to the hospital. They had to pump she ate the entire contents. She came out the next day totally fine, like nothing happens, like, what now?
What's for dessert?
Yeah, what's for dessert, with her little tag around her hand that said Maddie Platt, because it was Mark Platt, the producer. And that just it just says everything about her. She just ate and ate. She would have eaten herself to death if I hadn't stopped her.
To me, the most impressive part of this story is the fact that you went on and did a show while that was happening.
I just went to another place. I was like, she better not die. She better not. I mean, the whole time I thought about Maddie. I mean, that's just the real truth. You think that we're always in it. No, I thought about Maddie I did the bow. I was out. I was like, and, they wouldn't let me come because she was under, That damn dog. I loved her.
Well, you might call that gloves off, Kristin, but to me, that is the ultimate story of elegance in action.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here, Kristin.
I'm so honored. Thank you for doing such an amazing job. And thank you guys for coming.
Buy the album and go see her on Broadway.